Assalamu alaikum all. Very good evening. My name is Serish Mujtaba, and I am currently a cybersec lead and cybersecurity trainer associated with the cybersecurity industry since past 9 years. Also a member of the steering committee of Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Cybersecurity and Crimes. As a part of continued efforts for cybersecurity Pakistan, I would like to welcome you all on the behalf of Pakistan's PISA, ISACA Pakistan, and CSAP Pakistan. The topic that we would be discussing today is cybersecurity and the role of ISPs, telecom, and regulators in the current COVID-19 pandemic. Before we move on, let us review some of the facts which is related to the telecom indicators. As per the official source PTA, we have 165 million cellular subscribers, 76 million 3G, 4G subscribers, and 78 million broadband subscribers. The spike in remote work and curbs on civic life to check a raging pandemic are driving up the internet usage, posing unique challenges for the ISPs and telecom operators. These common challenges are growth in internet traffic, increase in data consumption, increase in mobile phone usage, boom in remote working tools like WhatsApp, increase in the use of collaboration tools, high volume of calls on the network, increase in call duration, surge in network traffic, which is related to the video conferencing, streaming services, news sites, and e-com websites, controlling new capacity requirements, providing subscribers with secure connectivity, rise in cyber scams, privacy-related issues to the disclosure of the PII data of the customers. What we need to focus upon is, do the ISPs have contingency plans in place in order to deal with the extra daytime demand? Do the telecom operators have crisis time operational plans? Do the regulators act rapidly to relieve capacity bottlenecks? Is it wiser to augment the devices with actionable cyber threat intelligence? Is there a need to adopt informed approach to the simplification of business processes which can help to ride the digital transformation wave? Do the operators consider contractual relief to their customers? Do the operators ensure the privacy of database PII of customers while working from the home? Do the operators ensure secure connectivity to the users for home in terms of availability and reliability of the internet? Do the authorities taking measures to avoid cyber scams in COVID-19? Do the authorities taking measures to authenticate the data breaches as claimed to be discovered? Is there a way forward to take relevant agencies on board for the claiming of data breaches, or it should be circulated on worldwide without being any authenticity? Is it the high time to consider the CERT at national level for operators and overall operating industries in Pakistan? Let's begin the show and start with our honorable panelists to join us. But before that, I would like to welcome Sir Amar Jafri to inaugurate the today's webinar. Sir Amar Jafri.
Thank you all. I can see 64 people on the panel right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning, evening, wherever you are. You all know me very well. My name is Amar Jafri. I spent a lot of time in Pakistan dealing with cybersecurity issues, previously in government, and right now as a private sector entrepreneur. Internet, today and tomorrow. It has been our lives of London are the products of the need is going to increase. So whenever there's a revolution, the criminals come. So interestingly, before Corona, the criminals were very active, but now they have become more active because everybody is in panic. Every financial transaction is now switching over to online transactions. Our traditional way of making payments to each other are now converted. Our education is being converted. Our health is being converted. So the world of the post-corona world will be totally different than the world we are living today. So we need to be very focused That's what we need to do now. The today's topic, I would request all the panelists to please, what Sarish has told, to focus on
risks that we have seen over the last few weeks that are a little bit different than everything that we have seen before. First one, we have seen hackers basically scan the internet for vulnerabilities of the tools that we're using today. Since we're doing things like working from home, people have resorted to using more VPNs. So what we have seen hackers do is basically scan the internet for known vulnerabilities or existing VPNs that have very well documented or hidden vulnerabilities that exist. So that means even using VPN will not necessarily protect you from those threats, including North America, Google as an organization, and even an entire country like Singapore, where the education saw pictures in an education session that they did not expect to see. That really put companies like Zoom on the fast path to introducing new features into their products to actually make them better and more secure. As I mentioned, Zoom, VPN, and the tools that we're using today remotely, like Office 365 and all of these, should be updated regularly to reduce the operational risk associated with it. But the problems go much further than that. One is the problem of capacity of the existing networks. So obviously we'd not go and revamp the infrastructure overnight. So we have to increase the level of monitoring and reporting to increase better redundancy of the infrastructure that we have. Apart from that, I think government organizations responsible for this have to also increase the amount of security awareness that they distribute to the organizations and to the individuals working from home. So they should have their own awareness campaigns to distribute to their users to reduce the risks associated with operation. I think other things that are also go beyond that is one issue of prioritization of resources. So yes, we have telecommunication as a critical infrastructure, but everything that goes into this telecommunication pipe has different purposes. Maybe it's banking, maybe it's entertainment, maybe it's education. So what we have seen is in some countries, they have asked companies like the video providers of entertainment to basically reduce the resolution of the videos in which they're provided. So that means instead of maybe streaming a movie at 1080, maybe we'll use more effectively by everybody else. If we go beyond that, I think there's a few extra things that can also be done. There is tools that have been available for quite a number of years, like Packeteer and others. I'm not here promoting a specific product, but it's just a name. The function that these products do is known something as packet shaping. So what does packet shaping tools do? Based on the type of traffic that is going through the Internet Service Providers, these tools will identify what is the traffic that is being generated and what is the purpose of this traffic. And then based on that, they will allocate priority on this traffic. So that means if we know that a traffic is of a more critical nature, then it'll get a higher quality of service than other types of traffic. So I do believe that these tools obviously play an extremely important role in enabling a more effective usage in the context where we have limited resources that we're sharing across everybody else. The last point that I want to make in my discussion is that we also have to introduce new tools that can substantially use our resources much better. There are some tools that have been used quite effectively in compression. What does that really mean? These are tools that sometimes combine with VPN, or it's like basically proxy tools. So when you go to a specific website or specific content, what really happens is that this content can then be compressed. So that means if you're displaying a picture in your browser or a video, it will play at a lower resolution because it gets cached and compressed at a lower resolution. So this again can have savings that sometimes can be upwards of 50%. So that means using the same bandwidth, you can actually perform or share that bandwidth much more effectively across all the users. Now, obviously, in the short time that we have had, this is some of the ideas that I consider that are important that governments and educational and infrastructure providers like ISPs need to take into account to basically leverage the limited resources they have in this difficult times of need, and allowing these resources to be used in the most productive way by educational institutions, by business, and otherwise. So thank you very much for the opportunity to address to you, and I now give a chance to my colleagues to also address their additional points as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. George Bessu. These were very valuable points that you have raised. I would like to invite my next panelist, which is Mr. Farooq Nair. He is CISO at Orion. I would like, sir, please introduce yourself as well as start your discussion.
Okay, while I'm looking for my slide deck, I'll just give my brief introduction. My name is Farooq Nair, proud Pakistani, and been in Canada for the past 8 to 10, of course, almost 9 years. I'm currently the Chief Information Security Officer for Orion, which is the research and education network for the province of Ontario in Canada. And of course, we are the first non-commercial 5G network in the country right now. Apart from that, I'm also a shared Chief Information Security Officer for 29 higher education institutions in Canada. I work closely with the provincial CISO of Ontario, affiliated with the Center of Excellence in Ontario too, and I'm working with the federal government in Canada closely with the Canadian Center of Cybersecurity. First of all, I would like to thank Amar Saab and his team for giving me the opportunity to speak today. And of course, I'm always thrilled to talk about any subject whenever Amar Saab invites me. Today, the subject which the team has chosen is something which hits close to home, because the organization that I work for is a de facto ISP. I mean, we are called a research and education network for the reasons of governance and the way we are structured, but we actually provide ISP services. I'll just briefly talk about my organization and when I share my slide there. So here goes my slide deck. I just want to give you a brief introduction about Orion and what we do. So let's just give it a second. So I'll start with my session. So I would like to talk about what Orion is. So Orion is a self-sustaining not-for-profit organization. As I mentioned, it is the research and education network for the province of Ontario, and it was set up back in 2001. Some seed funding which we got from the province and some from the federal government. We are the first non-commercial 5G network for the province, and of course for the country. And we have a network of 6,000 kilometers of dark fiber, and we are providing connectivity to municipalities, libraries, universities, colleges, research institutes, schools, and hospitals. What do we do for Ontario and for the country? What we're doing is that we're creating jobs and commercializing new discoveries and technologies. We are collaborating in real time to make impactful discoveries, linking rural communities and improving education and educational tools. So we're not just a research and education network and ISP, we also collaborate with various stakeholders to provide them the right tools and of course the right resources also. I'm just doing the sound check just to see if anybody can hear me. Okay. Everybody can hear me. So this is what we do for the province. Apart from this, I want to talk briefly about the role that we have in terms of cybersecurity and of course other things that we are doing. So our world has changed in the past 3 to 4 weeks. The current threat landscape has evolved quite a bit. And there are lots of things that have sprung up in the past 3 to 4 weeks. There has been an increase, of course, and surge in phishing attacks. There has been a surge in distributed denial of service attacks. We have seen that there has been a rise in lots of scams, and of course, lots of COVID-19 related activities. And of course, I will just like to highlight 3 to 4 recent scams that we have uncovered and which we are closely monitoring. So some of those are, of course, there is a WHO-based phishing scam which is going on. You'll see an email coming from WHO which has a link to a malicious file or to a malicious URL. Apart from that, there's been a rise in phishing attacks. The most recent one in Canada relates to Canada Emergency Response Benefit. And of course, the list goes on, and I won't go into the details. But we at Orion are working with the province, local law enforcement, and Canadian Centre of Cybersecurity of creating awareness amongst our citizens. We do news flashes on various news channels. We do news flashes on our websites. Our provincial premier and all the other authorities and fraud prevention center with the Royal Canadian to make sure that our community gets seamless connectivity and they can monitor, they can focus more on the operationalization and worry less about network connectivity issues. The first thing that we have done is that we have enhanced monitoring to support a proactive action. Our security operations center and our network operations center are combined. So we are monitoring the network threats on a real-time basis, making sure that if there is a distributed denial of service attack or some other cybersecurity attack which could affect network performance, we are monitoring that on a 24/7 and a more proactively basis, of course. And of course, we have also a DDoS solution in place, which helps us in timely detection of these threats, and of course, mitigation too. Our network are online right now, and the usage has increased quite a bit. The other thing that we have done is that since we are a research and education network, we also provide connectivity to research hospitals. Alhamdulillah, most of the universities who are now working on the cure for COVID-19 and are developing a vaccine utilize our network. So we are making sure that all these research universities and hospitals get seamless connectivity and without any interruption. Apart from that, we are also working with the leading cloud services vendors like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and they have made lots of things available right now. So right now, Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services have made resources. And of course, we have a 24/7 SOC at the provincial level and at the federal level, and we're making sure that we are sharing active threat intelligence with everybody. Okay, so thank you for the time today. And this was just a brief overview of how Orion is responding to the recent threat of COVID-19 and how we are playing a role in the community to make sure that we are able to keep up with the network demand by our consumers, and also making sure that any cyber threats that are coming up on the horizon, we can respond to that also. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Farooq Saab. We have Rizwan Jamil from NTC.
Yes, I'm Rizwan Jamil, and I've been working in NTC, National Telecom Corporation, for the last 12 years. And NTC is basically an internet service provider, which provides internet services along with other cloud-based services and data center-related services as well. I would like to actually share my screen to let everyone view the presentation. Kindly hold on with me. So is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to speak today on the topic of internet security, basically because of the prevalent pandemic situation in the whole world. Everyone knows that the security of the internet is of a very high importance these days. So from the perspective of an ISP, internet service provider, an ISP faces with two kinds of challenges. One challenge services like data center related services and cloud services, email hosting, web hosting, and services like that to the corporate subscribers, as well as providing highly efficient and high speed of internet services to residential subscribers. So in case of the corporate subscribers, since the corporate services are and there are such kind of services there that require more security than any other kind of services. So even if there is a high level of security involved in the corporate services, they can bear the degradation of the internet speed or internet performance, because whenever the high security is maintained, or whenever the layers of the security are involved in a network, or they are included in a network, of course some kind of latency, be it in microseconds or milliseconds, it gets involved into the network. But it is botherable for the corporate services, because the main focus is high security. So we see that the corporate services are normally secure with multiple layers of security, like network-based firewalls and anti-DDoS solutions, web application firewalls, anti-spam filtering. So all these kinds of services are protected through these kinds of security solutions. But for the residential subscribers, the key is the internet speed. What the value, the highest value they give to the part of the internet is the speed and not the security. So it's not a cost issue basically, but it's more of a feasibility that such kind of multi-layered security is not feasible for the residential subscribers normally, because of the huge chunk of bandwidth that is offered to the subscribers, like terabytes of live data that is being downloaded and uploaded, and that is destined for the residential subscribers. So normally it is not practically feasible to add multiple layers of security for the residential subscribers. This is the challenge of the ISP that it has to meet, that it still has to provide secure internet services to residential subscribers. But we know that if we start doing DPID packet inspection for each and every packet that is destined for the residential subscribers, it will not be practically feasible to do so. And moreover, the subscribers will also get annoyed because of the delayed internet services, because for them the highest value in the internet is of the speed and not of the security. So I'd like to talk here about some of the you can say a very good technique called DNS-based filtering. Many of us may be acquainted with this, and this is very useful for the residential kind of customers, because it does not involve any kind of you can say firewall devices or hardware appliances, which are very costly, and there are other issues as well. So just to quote as an example, I have made a comparison of a few freely available filtered public DNS servers. So these are the companies that have their DNS servers, and they provide different kinds of filtering. And we know that how the DNS servers work, that if we have to browse google.com, actually we have to know its IP address to browse google.com. But since it's not practically possible to memorize IP addresses of all the websites, so the domain names come into the scene, and we remember the domain names, and there is a domain name server that actually receives our requests for websites, and it resolves those requests into the IP addresses. So we are able to browse the internet. So what is the DNS filtering is that the DNS servers actually, the websites that it has to block, actually it does not resolve it back to the customers. So if a customer deliberately or unwillingly asks for browsing of a website that is blocked by a DNS server, the DNS server does not respond it, or it responds it with an IP address that is, let's say, 0.0.0.0. So the website cannot be browsed. So this way, DNS-based filtering works, and it actually efficiently protects the residential kind of customers. So let's say we have Cloudflare DNS. Each kind of these DNS servers, actually they provide different kinds of filtering models. So one of its models is that it blocks malware websites and as well as adult websites. So actually they have a list of those such websites that correspond to specific categories, and they keep on updating those websites. So whenever someone uses this Cloudflare DNS server at their end, actually the websites pertaining to this category, they get blocked. And this way the security is offered to the customer. So we have other kinds of DNS servers as well that are filtered public DNS servers, and they provide different kinds of filtering. Even some of them we can see experience. Moreover, if the DNS query is not in the cache of the ISP, what it can do is that it can forward that query to the upstream DNS server, which is the filtered public DNS server, and gets its cache updated from the public DNS server. So this is the third model, but it may also involve cost, because in this case the ISP is actually forwarding all the requests of the customers to upstream DNS servers with its own IP address, and the upstream DNS servers they may see it as an attack or malicious kind of traffic, because so much traffic is now coming from single IP address to that upstream server. So in such a case, it is recommended for an ISP to purchase different kinds of solutions and plans from filtered public DNS service providers. So in that way, they can configure those filtered public DNS servers into their own DNS servers as an upstream service. So these three are different kinds of models that how an ISP can make use of the publicly available filtered DNS servers, and also that how an ISP can itself implement the DNS-based filtering in their own DNS service. After this, I would like to share a latency comparison of different DNS servers that I made comparison of. We can see that the first one is the Cloudflare DNS server. Its DNS query response time is 24 milliseconds, which is very less, which is quite a fast resolution time. It is although it is fast as compared to the other public DNS service providers, but it is not that fast as compared to the DNS servers that is hosted locally by an ISP. Because the local DNS servers of the ISP may have a response of 5 to 10 milliseconds or even less than that. And this we can see is 24 milliseconds. So as we saw earlier as well, the best thing is that an ISP may host the category-based filtering. They may configure it within their own DNS servers. But if they are unable to do that, then the third option is also available, in which they configure the public filter DNS servers as upstream servers in their own DNS servers. In this case, the response time also reduces, because firstly, the DNS servers that are installed by the ISPs, they actually respond to the queries by consulting their own caches, which also reduces the time. So this was from the perspective of the ISPs, that how ISPs can provide the DNS-based filtering to their customers, and this way the residential customers actually they also get protected from most of the malware and phishing attacks, because all these public filter DNS servers they keep on updating their malware and phishing related other kinds of category lists. So most of the new attacks that are coming every day, they get updated into their lists, and everyone can make use of it. So apart from the ISPs that they can make use of these publicly available filter DNS servers, or they can also configure DNS filtering in their own DNS servers as well. The good thing about this DNS filtering is that it can be configured right from starting from the end devices, user and devices, up to the ISP. So even a single customer can also configure these DNS servers into their laptops, smartphones, or tablets, etc., and override the DNS servers provided by their ISPs, which may not be that much secure. Going an extra mile after that, these DNS servers can be configured in the home routers or gateways as well. And even the enterprises or small and medium enterprises and companies can also configure these DNS servers into their own routers or firewalls that are facing towards their ISPs. So these DNS servers can be configured by ISPs, by single users, by companies, by anyone. although if ISPs want to configure them, costs may be involved because they may have to purchase some of their plans, but users can configure them and can get protected from different malware and phishing attacks by making use of these DNS servers. So I would conclude my talk with this point that DNS-based filtering is something that is very economical, very easy to do, and it ensures the cybersecurity for the residential subscribers, to which the ISPs are not able to practically provide that kind of malware and phishing protection, which is protected to corporate customers or corporate services. So this is a methodology which is in use in many of the countries and even Pakistan as well. But it is something that I think should be made popular and made famous, so that residential customers may also be protected from malware, phishing, and other kinds of attacks.
Thank you,
That's all
Rizwan.
from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Rizwan, so very much. And now, next we have Mohsin Raza, Head of UFON Security Operations.
Hello.
Mohsin, can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Mohsin. Please carry on.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohsin Raza. Thank you very much, especially Amar Saab and his team, for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of this forum. Corona is not something that is planned. It came accidentally. Most of the companies don't have the plan to handle this situation, especially at the large scale. Some companies have their capacity and plans to handle work from home or teleworking at a small scale. But when this scale is grown up to the almost 100% of the employees, actually in that case, the security was not the plan, not the part of plan. So this is something, the limitation of remote working and work from home. Say, being a ISP, we are looking at that a very huge growth in that data traffic. And as an ISP, different ISPs are providing different facilities to customers and security as well, in which like I am from UFON and I know that UFON is actually giving a free WhatsApp in these days. This is something how the ISP jumps in and facilitating the social circle. And now, what is the topic of about the information security that I want to discuss over here is that the spamming and phishing. And these days, attackers have grown manifold to exploit weaknesses in the home and enterprise networks. More than 80,000 COVID-19 related websites are uploaded at GitHub last week. So at least 80,000 plus websites are newly launched, and most of these websites are not actually legitimate. However, I'm not saying that every website is illegitimate, but spammers and hackers are abusing COVID-19 circumstances. People are spending more time at internet. People are curious about COVID-19 news, and attackers are taking the advantage of the same thing. And they are sending different kind of emails this is the new stat in your area, this is the new number, and sometimes they ask about the credentials of the users. And it could be the banking credentials, and it could be the official credential that we are using to access our corporate emails. So this attack we are already observing at different major companies within Pakistan. And how we are coping with these kind of attacks is actually by using Amir Jamil. Actually, Rizwan already has mentioned some very good point about the DNS-based security. This could help actually the customer side, especially because there is no free cup of tea like this. First of all, ISPs have to invest to protect the customer. Right now, ISPs have not planned such mass scale of security to facilitate work from home. And same if a credential of a user is compromised and the account, all the emails are actually over the internet, like, and compromised credential can be used in spear phishing, and spear phishing attacks are also growing. So overall, the point is that attackers are more activated compared to the time before the COVID-19, and they are exploiting the weakness of curiosity of the people, that they want to know what is the latest stats of COVID-19. And attackers are sending the spams in which that is very specific, asking for the credentials, and when a user provide his or her credential in those phishing sites, actually they are compromising their accounts, and such compromised accounts can be used to enhance the attack. Because now, like, let's suppose Mohsin Raza's account is compromised by some of phishing attack, and lot of people trust me, and when they get in an email from Mohsin Raza, they trust that email as well, and they put their credential on and those emails, and actually it make a ripple effect. So in these days, spamming and phishing is one of a very big concerning area, and how we can address these things, here I would say one very old saying, and that is, we need a Pakistan level cert. Like, we investigate lot of cases where we found the IP address that this is coming from, like, this particular ISP, this attack is coming from this particular ISP, and after that we are handicapped that we can't get further information. Our Pakistan level cert is very important so that we can investigate any issue, and trust is very important over here, because what I am thinking that Pakistan level cert is not working is the trust gap, and we need to bridge this trust gap in such forums like we are discussing in PISA and some other forums. But this trust gap should be actually eliminated, trust should be developed, and we are here to support the cause of uh, defending Pakistan from different cyber attackers. This is something that is something need to happen. When it will happen, I can't say. But what we can do right now is that we can educate our customers that they should use secure searches. They should go to secure web pages. So awareness across the customers is very important, and at first hand they can get a free of cost open DNS type solution where they can provide a DNS entry at their home router, home VPN, home switches, and mobile devices, to give a DNS that can filter malicious IPs, malware IPs, spamming IPs. This is something that can be started right now. The only matter of educating the end user. And any idea about how we can educate the end user, we are open to listen, and we are open to discuss. Like, I would like to say that, like, from as our company can send some SMSs to our customers that this is something that you should, how you should react and how you should configure there. And secondly, that is cost oriented, that ISPs can play a vital role in protecting denial of services attacks. If any entity, any user, any organization want to protect denial of services attack, in that case, they will not achieve this goal without the ISP, because some company has implemented denial of service, but ISP is attacked. If ISP is attacked, actually you got the denial of service. So ISP role is very vital in protecting denial of service attack. And third, ISPs, like what I am saying, that educate every user and he will configure a DNS entry in his home router. It can help for those users who are conscious about their internet, who are conscious that their kids should be protected. or conscious that their system should be protected, but not, it cannot work for the masses. If we want to protect masses, in that case, the ISP is the entity where secure DNS should be implemented. Uh, ISPs have DNSs, but it has some added cost to enable security. And when this added cost, any ISP will, and ISPs normally invest at that time when there is a business case. It is our, I can say, it is our responsibility to provide secure internet. Yes, this is true, but providing any service, there is a cost that ISP has also bear. So in that case, custom packages can be introduced. Like if you want secure internet experience, this will be the additional cost. And normally people don't like to pay additional cost for this kind of security. So importantly, we shall came back to the same point. The awareness across the nation is very important. Here I would like to close this point. This is mainly about the how attackers are attacking us and how we should react by without doing any additional expense by using the DNS. Thanks. That's it from my side. Thank you all for the participation. From here, I would request to our organizer to call the next participant. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Abdul Muttalib. He's the head of department.
Sorry, I'll just take 1 minute. I
Yes,
think,
sir.
Mohsin, you have very rightly pointed out the point of home security. So in the end, in the question answer session, I request you to please define something like you talked about VPNs and DNS local level. That will be very important. So at the end, please get prepared for this question from my side, and I would like you to explain it. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Next, we have Mozim Abdul Muttalib. He's the head of department Cybersecurity Responsive Services.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. First
Great.
of all, I would like to thank Paisal Sir for giving me the opportunity to present in this webinar session. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Megat Muazzam bin Abdul Muttalib. I'm the head of my cert from Cybersecurity Malaysia. Before I start, I would like to share with you what is Cybersecurity Malaysia. We are an agency under Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia, in which that we are committed to provide a broad range of cybersecurity services, programs, and initiatives to help reduce the vulnerability of digital systems and at the same time strengthen Malaysia's self-reliance in cyberspace. As you can see, this is one of our major services, which is called Cyber 999, in which that it provides incident handling, cyber early warning, technical coordination center, cyber threat research center, so on and so forth. And you can also see that we also provide our email address, which is cyber999@cybersecurity.my, in which that it provide an incident response for all Malaysia internet users, and one of our core services is to provide incident response to IT user, company, government agency, and also for all organization here in Malaysia. And for the topic of today, that is cybersecurity and rules of ISP, Telecom, and also regulators, I will be more focused on the CSM roles, Cybersecurity Malaysia roles of monitoring and providing assistance to the public during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. Many are on the internet, social media platform, and online meeting application, either for leisure, education, business activity, banking, online purchase, and so on. The situation of depending on ICT and IT network is very important here in Malaysia. and also with other part of the world for business continuation and communication with family and also friends. And due to this dependency of ICT technology, there is no doubt that cyber criminals are in full attack mode, attempting to exploit every human and system weaknesses. And most risks are due to lack of cybersecurity awareness services or applications that are vulnerable due to outdated and or unpatched system, unsecure network configuration, and many more. Even though most of our team member established our work from home operation during this pandemic situation, our critical services like I highlight right now, which is the Cyber 999, our cyber incident reporting platform, which user can report cyber incidents, are still operated as usual. The team provide necessary assistance and technical support to the complainant and victim related to cyber attack. And for your information, during our nation movement control order, which established from March 18, if you can notice at the graph, during the period of time from 18 March to 7 April, the number of incidents spiked. We received around 838 incidents, which is 82.5% increase compared to the previous year. And as of total 838 incidents were reported to Cybersecurity Malaysia between the date of March 18 until April 7. As of all the total, 80% of the cases involve local companies, while the rest were home users and small businesses. It is a jump from 459 cases reported in the same period last year, and most cases during the restricted order have involved related to fraud cases, intrusion, and also cyber harassment. Besides providing cyber incident handling and response services, Cybersecurity Malaysia also released various alerts and advisory to the public. And in total, we have released 3 alerts and advisory. The advisory are related to COVID-19 cyber scam and campaign. The second advisory related to work from home, security advice, and also best practices. And the third advisories are related to online video teleconference VCT application. Of course, right now we have all these lots of issues related to Zoom and also with all other type of VTC application. Besides releasing our advisory alerts and advisory, we also release infographic. So infographic is very catchy, in which that our main purpose is that we want to reach as many as possible user for them to be very careful while doing online transaction, online business, so on and so forth. So we release various type of infographic, and as you can see in the slide, that we also release a specific infographic for kids, for teens, and also for parents. Besides that, we also release infographic related to password protection, how to use proper antivirus software, infographic related to best practices on using online banking transaction, and also infographic related to fake news, and of course infographic on online video teleconferencing application security guidelines, and last but not least, of course, confidential best practices. And with that, I conclude my presentation for today. And for conclusion, I will also want to share that it is important for us to start educating users, whether on-site and also remote, about the critical importance of cyber hygiene. And for all user, regardless whether you are normal user or organization, it is important for you to protect or to harden all your devices. And last but not least, for critical business, they have to ensure and protect their network and also their network security devices. And then that is from me. Thank you very much.
Mr. Maggot, I would like to thank you, and especially the Cybersecurity Malaysia and your entire team. Ladies and gentlemen, I think 100 people are listening me. Cybersecurity Malaysia is a friendly organization for Paisa, Pakistan, and they're helping us a lot. Number of responsibilities, and I would request all the participants to visit their website. And recently they have offered number of few things free of any charge, because they're also fighting for a cause like Paisa Pakistan. And thank you, Maggot. Pay my regards to Brother Zairi and your team, and I'm really thankful to you. On behalf of Paisa Pakistan, I'm really thankful for spare time. Over to you, Sari, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Amar.
Thank you so very much. Now, next we have Irfanur Rahman sir. He is the vCISO Cloud Services USA.
I think you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarish, and thank you very much, Jafri sir. It's a great opportunity for me to talk about this really important issue of this about this the cybersecurity in the service provider for the customers and the end users. I would rather say it's not a responsibility of just the single service provider or the telecom operator or one of them. It's a responsibility of many stakeholders. Like, first of all, I would say end user. Number two, telecom authority. Number three, telemedia. Number four, threat intelligence companies who should be approved from the authorities. Service provider, yes, true. And of course, there is a responsibility for the government as well. As far as this pandemic is concerned, attackers are badly using this situation, and they are taking this as an opportunity. I would rather say for the end user, there should be an awareness program, not through the physical awareness sessions, but could be some telepresence, some good video trainings should be shared by the service provider or by the telemedia or by the government. Just like I can see a lot of advices from doctors, from government for the COVID virus to prevent. And so why don't we share such messages for the cybersecurity to the end user? So at least they should be aware of it. Because if I start with the awareness, there are a lot of things. So maybe I'll take a lot of time. So it would be great if telecom authority like PTA used to send a lot of messages about the cybersecurity and the other things. Why don't they send messages about this this current situation, so about to user, so at least the user should be aware how to deal with now. On the second number, telecom authority, as I explained, telecom authority should play a vital role over here. They should be sending messages to the end users for the internet usage, for the mobile data usage, and I think it's the right time to introduce some in-house applications, just like we are using the Zoom, we are using Hangout, we are using some other applications for telepresence, for having the video conferencing to discuss all these things. Why don't we take this opportunity? Let's build an application for us so we can have a video conference, video meeting within the Pakistan by using our own application. Number three, telemedia. I think they can play a good role. As I explained, if they can share a lot of messages about the medical preventions of the COVID, why don't they share something about the security as well? Because now attackers are using the phishing attacks very actively, and people are panicked. So if anybody get any message from any attacker using the phishing links or whatever, they'll be simply clicking it because they're in panic. They're panicked. They think that they will have some good information about the COVID virus and blah, blah, blah. So attackers are really using this as an opportunity. So, all right. As far as the threat intelligence companies are concerned, we have observed there are some ABC companies which have published some of the posts in last few days, and people got panicked. So I think the authority should certify or approve some companies who should share the threat intelligence, appropriate and valid threat intelligence. So people should not get panicked. Like that was one example. There could be some other as well. If somebody wants to take it opportunity, the attacker take it opportunity and spread such false and negative threat intelligence, people will get panic. So it will create more, problems. Now, if I come to service provider, I think I'll not complain. I'll not say that was a mistake of service provider. Of course, nobody was planned for such scenarios and such conditions. But I think this is the right time. Now they should plan. They should be prepared, well prepared for all such incidents and for all such conditions and scenarios. I would Mohsin very well explain. There should be a secure DNS. I agree with that. But DNS is a one layer. We have to take care of all layers. Because when you go to the internet, DNS is one of the layer. We have to take care of the network layer as well. So we should, share some awareness to the end user about all these layers. And service provider, what I can suggest is, if I say they should deploy DLP, they should deploy NAC, they should deploy 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure it will not be possible for any of the service provider at this stage right now, because the employees are working from home, and of course the solution providers are also working from home, so it will not be possible. I would rather say the best quick win could be if they can deploy remotely secure VPN servers for their corporate users and for their employees as well. So at least whenever they want to connect to a corporate network, at least they should have a secure network. They should not be connecting to the public network for any of the network operations and system operations. So that could be a very quick win. There is no budget constraint, there's nothing. They can use any open source VPN server and they can use that. Responsibility of the government. Government is spreading a lot of information about the COVID virus, but COVID virus is, yes, I agree, is badly affecting the health of people, but it's badly affecting the technology operations, badly affecting the security as well. So why don't we, take care of these dependent risks as well? Of course, the primary risk of the COVID is about the health of people, but there are some other dependent risks as well, where the cybersecurity is one of the important risks. We are just, I would say, government should take care of it. Government should be well planned for it. Thank you very much. Sorry, I was not prepared for the presentation, so I don't have any presentation.
That's okay.
Thank you, Sarish.
Welcome. Now next we have Jawad Server. He's the GM NIS SOC PTCL. Mr. Jawad Server, can you hear me? Jawad Server, sir.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Walaikum assalam. Please carry on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmad Jafri and his team for giving me this opportunity to speak in this panel. PTCL is providing connectivity solution to governments, corporate banks, cellular and mobile operators, and SMEs beside consumer. And in this difficult time of corona pandemic, PTCL linemen and field staff are on the road to address the customer complaints and resolve outages in minimum time, so that people, educational institute and companies are interconnected and they can run their work from home smoothly. PTCL is the largest fixed broadband service provider, and it's also providing wireless broadband services. And it is not only internet service provider, it's actually operator of operators, because it's providing the connectivity solution to cellular mobile operators and long distance and international operators. PDCL network operation team is monitoring the network 24/7 to review the bandwidth congestions and issue work order to carry out expansion in case any threshold is reached. Now, PDCL is considering safety first. Human life is most precious. PDCL has equipped its staff with the relevant safety tool to safeguard it against coronavirus. PDCL has taken corporate social responsibility steps to support underprivileged families in Pakistan, and it will expand its coverage in the remote areas in the coming days. Now, there was talk about bandwidth challenges owing to customers' extra bandwidth requirement. PDCL is offering unlimited packages for its fixed and wireless broadband users. However, no one was ready and prepared to meet this corona pandemic challenge. This unexpected increase in usage of Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and other video teleconferencing application and social media tools like Facebook and YouTube have resulted in increase in data traffic due to online meetings, school and university sessions. However, at the moment, it is difficult to predict the exact bandwidth requirement in the coming days. PDCL is ready to take all measures to carry out expansions as and when demand arises. In cybersecurity, phishing is one of the key tools. The customers are the cybersecurity criminals are exploiting at the moment. A joint advisory was issued by National Cybersecurity Center and United States Department of Homeland Security. PDCL has implemented the IOCs identified, and in the process, as and when any coronavirus IOCs are received, PDCL is implemented in its security products to ensure that IOCs are blocked. PDCL is also issuing regular advisories to its staff on guidelines to work from home or any updates regarding corona pandemics. PDCL has also advised to limit use of personal computers from home, avoid usage of USB or in the computers, and using VPN and MFA for accessing the network. PDCL has also implemented DDoS solution to protect its own network and providing anti-DDoS solution to its corporate users. This is Sarish, all I have for today because, okay.
Thank you so very much, Jawad Sarwar Sahab.
Jawad Sarwar Sahab, this is really great. And we are very excited to understand that you are ready to absorb the additional load of internet. And ladies and gentlemen, especially from abroad, PDCL is the biggest service provider in Pakistan at the grassroots level, and they are supported by the government of Pakistan also. And Jawad, really, you made us our day, because now we are very confident. And before you, NTC also gave us satisfaction. And I think all cybersecurity officials sitting here, I think we should be proud of our institutions. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, next we have Jawad Hussain Adil. He is the former civil judge and a legal expert and the managing partner of AA and LC. Jawad Hussain Adil Saab, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope I'm audible to all the attendees.
Yes, you are audible.
Assalamu alaikum. And first of all, I would like to thank our Sir Amar Jafri Saab and his team for giving me an opportunity for addressing such a good conference where all the technical people are there. And I don't think so that besides me, any other legal person is here. Therefore, I might be touching some areas which have not been discussed yet. And I will be focusing on those things which are related to legal things in Pakistan. Especially, first of all, the topic is cyber security and role of ISPs, telecom, and regulators in the current pandemic situation. Situation of cyber security is very much clear to everyone. Recently, we know there was an attack in which 115 million users, as reported, of Facebook from Pakistan, their data was stolen. And I was just going through the news, and the data which is available on the dark web, it also shows the user's CNIC number and NTN number, which is something strange for me, because we all have Facebook accounts, but none of us would ever have put his CNIC number or NTN number on a Facebook account. This shows that the breach of data level is different, which I expect, and we don't have more details. And similar nature of attack took place in 2018. There was no pandemic conditions, but even then we were failed. And the sector which was targeted was banking sector. And we all know that the level of security in banking sector is much more higher as compared to a user level security levels. Therefore, in these pandemic conditions where we should be more planned, but what I see as a lawyer, because I have been practicing cyber laws in Pakistan, and I've been appearing on the behalf of a lot of telecom operators in different cybercrime cases even, and some other issues. And what I have seen, that we all miss one thing, and that is the regulator, which is Pakistan Telecommunication Authority. A couple of panelists, they highlighted this thing, and I really appreciate them. One from the I just noted it, Mr. Irfan Saab and Mohsin Saab. Both of them highlighted that where is Pakistan Telecommunication Authority? And I would like to speak, as I'm a lawyer, I would like to speak legally. Pakistan Telecommunication Reorganization Act 1996, Section 4 says that what is the duty, among the lot of functions of Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, one of them, which I am just going to read it, just for the sake of knowledge, maybe you people are aware of it. It says, promote and protect the interests of users of telecommunication services in Pakistan. This is one of the functions of Pakistan Telecommunication Authority as mentioned in the law. Similarly, there are a lot of things. Even the same issue which I have just highlighted, the Facebook data which have been stolen, I don't see PTA issuing any statement or PTA person coming in front. And all these things need to be addressed. Same as Mohsin Saab said that we need a cert of Pakistan level. We do need a cert at Pakistan level. Besides that, the second thing, which I will repeat, as Irfan Saab said, that awareness is very much important. And without awareness, what I think, we cannot fight cybercrime. We can only control cybercrime. And cybercrime and cybersecurity, the cyberspace can be controlled. You cannot fight these people, because a person might be sitting in Europe or China or Russia, and he might be damaging something in Pakistan. We don't have the resources. What we have is we can make awareness programs which can be done in the universities. Even I was really astonished to know that the universities which are offering software engineering like subjects, they don't teach cyber laws to their students. And we all know that computer has become a weapon. I have recently wrote a paper for on cyber terrorism for National Counterterrorism Authority. And what I suggested that we should focus on awareness programs. We cannot fight it. This is my personal view, and I might be wrong. But after listening all the panelists who are technical persons, they are more sound in their technical knowledge. And I have observed that it is better to control things. And in order to control, I would suggest a couple of things. Number one, as already said, that first of all, we should go for awareness programs. As the person from the Malaysia, I'm sorry, don't remember his name. He also highlighted the same thing for kids, for parents, for teens. These are the things which we should be doing. Number one, I said awareness, and on number two, our Pakistan Telecommunication Authority should be active. We don't see an active Pakistan Telecommunication Authority. Yani, besides bidding the licenses, we don't hear that there is some authority which is Pakistan Telecommunication Authority. Their sole purpose, which we see, which we observe, is simple to bid the licenses. This is not the sole purpose of the PTA. The PTA is not performing its duties, and this is something which is which makes the pandemic conditions more pandemic. And even in the normal routine, we don't see PTA. So these are the two things. And the third thing which I would like to further highlight is one other legal issue is that data protection, or you can say data privacy rights. And we do have laws, but they are not implemented. And our laws are normally made with the passage of time for the sake of meeting the conventions of the United Nations. And this is something, it means currently we are working on data protection laws only for the purpose of making a law. Electronic Transaction Ordinance 2002 is available in the market. It was promulgated in 2002, but still till date, I don't find any proper implementation of Electronic Transaction Ordinance. I have never seen an electronically signed document, a digital signature, nowhere. Therefore, we need to address the things, and the smartest way is to activate Pakistan Telecommunication Authority. It is the sole authority. If we legally talk, the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority is the sole authority. It has every right. When there was a issue of YouTube, all people are aware, in 2012, I think, YouTube was banned, and it was banned under the order of Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, and it was restored on the order of Pakistan Telecommunication Authority. This shows that authority is there. It don't exercise its powers according to the law. So that's what I am suggesting through all my through this forum. That's all for now, Madam Serge. And thank you, Marjafri sir, once again for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you so very much. So, Mr. Andre?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, thank you for inviting me into this meeting, and particularly for your effort into this space, Amar Jafri. I come as an outsider, and excuse me for coming late too. I'm stuck here, Corona stuck on the Canary Islands of Spain. The tiny intro in the meeting in the group, WhatsApp group there, is that I'm from Norway, and that's all you know. But I'm here because of what we do in Norway, and look at all these things from a bit different perspective. We are working with offering Norway as the green hard drive to the world, meaning that when it comes to sustainability and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, all this infrastructure should be powered by renewable energy. And this is a very important topic for Pakistan as well. Having your own data centers where it makes most sense, also when it comes to the power setting of it. What we are suffering from in a meeting like this is that there are so many topics to cover. They are all different, but then again, they have so much in common. So what we're talking about here now is cybersecurity in a sense for end users and their phones being hacked. And then, as Javad was saying, there needs to be a legal framework around this that is in the process, but can never be good enough. And it always has to both be agile and yet very conservative in its approach. So what the reason why I'm here is that we have just started a Smart Nations Foundation in Silicon Valley, where we try to build trust. And trust is the key issue and topic also for what we have here with coronavirus when it looks to the IT aspects of it, because it's all about being able to know what is correct news and what popular over there is called fake news. And sometimes this can be used in a propaganda way, but it can also be just because of misinformation. At the end of the day, this is a culture we need on all these different levels, and from Smart Nations, then we try to address this by looking and making an international open forum, trusted forum with the experts over the world to tackle some of these topics before we get into the situation we are here today. Even though now with the cybersecurity, we have to deal with every threat there is present this minute, we should also use this in order to learn from it now, from where we are going forward. I will just share briefly my my screen. So here you see the Smart Nations Foundation. It's very much aligned with the different initiative Amar is having on the SDG Academy. And at the end of the day, this is a multidisciplinary effort. You have to have, like before me now, you have to have law, you have to have culture, you have to have the technology, you have to have the people. And we are bound to fail because these different silos don't connect very well. But from the Smart Nations perspective, one thing is about the sustainability. Another is about United Nations, what they define as global digital public goods. And that's the kind of data that has now become a human right. And of course, this is some of the aspects that are really important for Pakistan too. So many living off the grid, and they are lucky for them, not victims of any cybersecurity criminalities, but for the future, everyone should be connected in order to take part of the beautiful development we are seeing now. So the city in the background here is my hometown, and I really hope Amar and his wife and some of you too will come and visit Norway one day. It has to be after this corona problem. But within Smart Nations then, cybersecurity is a very important track because it doesn't matter if one of these elements are in place, like the sustainable data centers and infrastructure. It has to have a common platform with the mobile operators, the authorities, the smart cities, and in there the work you are doing, Amar, as an institution is so important for today and for tomorrow. I'll just end it there, but I'm really happy being part of this call.
Thank you, Andre.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Ahmed Hamdan Saab, and we have a very little time. So, Ahmed Hamdan Saab, can you please connect with us, Ahmed Hamdan Saab?
I think I'm connected. Can you hear me?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Welcome, Ahmed.
Hi, guys. Thank you. Hey, I'll keep this very short. I got a very short notice to jump into this conversation. But I think there are huge work from home concerns that haven't been addressed by many companies and organizations in Pakistan or around the world today. Especially around the fact that in third world countries, when you're providing services to in the tech space, your sharing equipment is very expensive. The equipment is typically shared by one or more resources in multiple shifts, right? There's also a lack of governance in how these machines are used, and if they're taken home, it's only accessible to one person. How do we address these concerns? I look at it slightly differently. Having worked at Microsoft, dealing with security, and having built Microsoft cloud infrastructure, I'm thinking slightly differently and saying, hey, this is an opportunity to develop a shared hardware resource pool, whether people rent the equipment for a short period of time, or share it, or make it available as hardware available as a cloud resource. There's so many options available, and this is a business opportunity for many to consider, especially in third world countries providing services to the West. Now, you could also do converged infrastructure and providing security services, whether you're doing audit services, whether you're doing any other work from home project. Development resources might need to be shared as well. In the past, there were these virtual machines that you could which you could use and procure. We could bring those back to life, right? There were converged sessions. There was a continuation of sessions. Open source had many platforms available for virtualization of hardware resources. And I believe this is an opportunity to be able to bring some of those back, whether it's on a licensing basis, or whether it's on a shared basis, or whether it's on, however, you can create a new business model around it. That's basically what I wanted to share. And I think from a security perspective, it's everybody's responsibility to be able to share this as a situational awareness and make sure that we address security, whether we're doing it for ourselves, our work environment, our personal environment, or at a national level. It's everybody's responsibility to address and take precautions.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ahmed Hamdan. You have pointed out very valuable point. So, Mr. Omar, would you like to speak? Yep.
Yeah. I request Senator Mia Teague to give his concluding remarks. I think Hussain is from USA. But can you hear us? Hussain Usman.
Yes, I can hear you.
Please go ahead. You please give some minute. Hussain is doing a wonderful job in USA, and I would like him to speak. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. And I was just listening everything. And I am based in New York, and I would like to share some of the things that we are doing in the United States as a part of the response to these cyber threat actors. I'm more focused on threat intelligence, cyber defense centers, and working closely with these entities globally, author of PCI book, also head of IT security, global PCI and cyber defense center of HBL, Pakistan. So my fellow members address very well many of the areas, which I just want to add few of the points for the government and few of the points for the telecommunication. One of my fellow members said and highlighted DNS security type of things, which is essential I believe, yes, there are many controls. This is one of the very essential one. But what about the security of the modems that you are providing as an ISP? So the end users are being exploited. So when I was in Pakistan, I have to put a big firewall at my home after my devices. So the end users have these public IPs, and then they have vulnerable devices, and now these devices also don't support the advanced protocols. So kindly see this as the telecommunication as internet service providers are offering these services to the consumer, so they should accommodate them within that cost to provide them the most updated devices that support the security features and like Wi-Fi 6 and all those things. And I see all these exploitation going on with the end user. So this is one of the area. The second thing, yes, one of my fellow member, Mr. Irfan, very well highlighted some of the points. Since, as I mentioned in my last session with Mr. Amar, that Sense have developed their own toolkit which you can use. The challenge which we have is, like, for example, organizations like banks. If we run a security awareness program for our customers, there is a challenge that if we send a message to our millions of customers, it costs us a lot. So if you run or you send those messages as a part of your campaign with the same awareness, most of the organization are in Pakistan can afford those things. Small organization, medium-sized organization. So you have to see what programs you need to design for your employees, and also you should see what you can do for your end user as a telecommunication. Further, moving forward on this, how we are defending ourselves from this. So same way as my friend Farouk told you guys, we have FBI here. They are acting very effectively with these scams. But beside that, we have national threat intelligence centers owned by the government that share this information to the organizations working in the United States, along with the industry leading organization. And they are also offering you free intelligence globally, like AT&T, like IBM X-Force. So you can use those threat intelligence for your security. The DNS thing, which people are more concerned that they can filter out, actually it doesn't work like that. Most of the time you whitelisted some of the legitimate government DNS for the users, and these APTs and these actors targets those websites, and they planted their command and control. And the practices in organizations in Pakistan that we don't perform the compromise assessments effectively for our website. So if a website have 5,000 pages and there is that website was compromised, it's a government-based legitimate website which you have whitelisted, and they put one shell over there and they make that server as a command and control. So your users will be going over there and they can run their attacks and all those things from there. So this is something that you need to plug the threat intelligence from you. Finally, I like to discuss and highlight some of the area. The threat intelligence that people see in Pakistan is completely different as it works. So we need to educate and provide awareness to our organizations that how threat intelligence works. So if someone finds data in the dark web, this is what I faced when I was in Pakistan. In last, someone put some data on the dark web, and then a chaos created and all those things happened. So the challenge is that a company is providing a services, they go to the dark web. There are very famous shops, they use scripts in the dark web, they find some Pakistan related information, they come back, oh, see, you know what, this is a threat intelligence, and we believe that you are compromised. And threat intelligence, this is not a threat intelligence, this is one of the components which we called cyber intelligence and data gathering from the dark web. Threat intelligence, where we proactively provide information to the organization in advance. Hey, you know what? These are the actors who can attack you, and these are the IOCs. And now the IOCs, most of the organizations say, oh, we have the IOCs open source. And what about IOA? the indicator of attacks. Because if you find the IOC in your organization, that means that your organization has already been compromised. They were here. If you find these IOCs in your servers, in your network, it means that these people were here, they were doing whatsoever. So nobody talk about IOA, indicator of attacks. So there are companies in the region, they provide IOCs, but there are organizations globally that provide you the indicator of attacks. Government can do a very good job here. It's a good opportunity for the government. As what internationally governments are doing, let's secure Pakistan. Let's make money. This is how governments do. And how it goes, they create legislation. How they create, one of the example is GDPR. So when we talk about the GDPR, if you have a security data breach, it costs you up to from 1 million euro to 40 million euro, depending on the size of the breach. Why banking sector is very effectively taking different security controls? Because you have one regulator, then you have international laws, then you have partners like Visa and MasterCard, they are enforcing the standards on you. But the challenge is what government can do. Government can have signed one paper. They said, okay, fine, PIA information, if some data breach, you will be fine. All the organization will take this NIC information, PIA information seriously the way they take other critical elements like credit card and other financial information. And if someone got breached, you will get money. You will get the penalty. This is how they are doing in Europe. So as a Pakistani, my NIC card cannot be replaced. My NIC card cannot be changed. I can change my credit card, but I cannot change my NIC card. So that is another issue. So these are some of the areas which I like to highlight. And finally, for the telecommunication, not from the basic attack point of view, since my domain is more information warfare campaign and more focused on the anti-state actors. So I can tell you one thing, the telecommunication protocol which you are using currently is not that effective against you. We may witness SS7 and all those things. They were there. You need evidence. I can provide the threat actors. They provide you a portal where they can, threat actor means some state sponsor commercial organization that works with third world countries. They provide accesses to third world countries who do not have the offensive grade effective operations. So they take assistance from commercial companies for gathering the intelligence against any other country. So I have witnessing, I saw all those things. So how they work, these commercial companies based in Europe, they provide 1 million, you can give them 20 million, the current rate is 20 million, up to 60 million, and then they provide you some access to their servers, and then you can intercept any message from any country to from any country of any individual from anywhere in the world. So if I'm sitting in Karachi and I'm sending my communication and sending my calling from Karachi to Islamabad, or sending my messages, that communication can be intercepted. This is the solution they are providing. So what is our readiness on that? It's just the end user. We have national asset. We are a nuclear nation. We have our own critical assets. We have to see these threats and these type of opportunities available in the market. And I have highlighted these type of issues in international forums, and I get, these companies work with military, so we don't consider it. And I said that these type of companies are providing services to third world countries, like in our region, to our neighbors, to intercept individual the exploitation to any nation and the government and the individual. But since their government are supporting these type of companies to do the business, so this is how they are doing it. So what is our response as a nation to those areas? What is our response as a government to those areas? So if you need any details, I have shared those details to the government officials in past. We have multiple sessions. These are the things that you need to see from government perspective and highlight wherever you can. And if any evidences are required, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Usman. You have raised a very wonderful and very meaningful information. And definitely You know, actually, we have promised ourselves that we will finish it in 2 hours from 7 to 9. So before I open this house for the question answers, and I would request Senator Miatik, for all those who do not know Senator Miatik living abroad, all of you living abroad, Senator Miatik is the sitting parliamentarian in Pakistan, and he is very, very receptive to this session. And I'm really thankful to Senator Miatik to be with us, and he is here from the starting point to the end point. And I'm sure that all issues you have raised, whether it is about the national cert, about the laws, I think Jawad spelled very well the requirement for the law. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our country, we have to protect it. I think the physical borders have to be protected, but now our cyber borders need to be protected with much more force than the physical border. Over to Senator Talib.
Thank you very much, sir. And once again, I welcome all the participants in this global webinar on cybersecurities and responsibilities of Internet Service Providers ISPs. So my request is, as we are here, Alhamdulillah, and we all got unanimity in one thing, that this cyber crime issue will be increased in the coming era. Reason being, while entering after this corona, post-corona activities, there would be a lot of things which are coming to be changed. And the biggest thing is that the world is going to be, in reality, the digital world. And while talking about that digital world, there will be a lot of things. To start with, as already Mohsin Raza said, that Pakistan should have the search level in which is not available right now. Then Mr. Irfan, he said that we are giving opportunities to the hackers. But how we are giving to the opportunities to them, that while we are getting any email, if we open, so it means there is something which we want to give the awareness to all the users. That is one end. Yes, I do agree. While going through the legislation part, we, the legislators, we are responsible for it to provide all type of legislation, which is real-time legislation. I mean, which can implement very easily and which can control all the aspects from which the hackers are coming. So for that, while talking about the Cybercrime Act 2009, which was come, then it was struck down by the Supreme Court, and there is another version came in 2015 and 16. But very sorry to say, up till now, it is not in that format as it is available in all over the world. So all the groups sitting here, they are here in this webinar. My request would be that they should send through emails their proposal, and especially Mr. Hussain, I request you, you are the one who have already enlightened us regarding the solution as well. So I assure you that I will take all those solutions, because I'm the member of IT committee and as well as the Interior Committee. So while making for the legislation, but I assure you that definitely we can provide this type of environment in which we can make the better legislation, which ultimately gives us that type of results. So thank you very much for today. As Amar Saab, we have already short of time. In the last, I must say that we, the Pakistani nation, we are heading towards something which is for the success of everyone. We need that we should come on a digital solution in this digital world. And for that, we need the real legislation. Through that, we can stop cybercrime. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, before I open the session for the question answers, very brief question, very brief answers. Senator Atiq, let me put on record. This forum, which is PISA, did their best for 2 years in 2012, 2014. Let me put on record for the history to come. Senator Mushahid helped us. But trust you me, that 2 years effort of 40 volunteers, all young people listening, put me on record, that was PISA. We prepared cybersecurity laws, cybersecurity strategies, cybersecurity policies, national cert, everything was there. I am still the nominated chairman of that committee. That was Senate Committee for Defense. But that private bill by Senator Bishai couldn't day the light of the day even today. So we have done the historical mistakes in the past. Senator Atiq, through you, will request you to please allow us. We will give you all recommendation what you are saying. You can see the smartest people of the world are with me right now. We will do everything possible in the sun to make our country protect. But please, I do not have that much time in my life that I could repeat it again and again in my life. So people get discouraged. So please, we will make all our effort, whatever you said. Usman, I think you have heard it, but Senator Atiq has said. Now, through this forum, we'll make a small committee again and we'll do it. So this deadlock has given us a time to discuss it. And Saris and Sufyan, I'm very thankful to you for coordinating all these things. We will do these webinars on a weekly basis till this closed down is there so that we can take it further. So in the end, before I open the session for question and answer, I request Mohsin Raza, please, because you really excited me for helping us to secure our home. Over to Mohsin Raza.
Okay, thank you. Actually, the point that I was discussing was what is in our hand right now. What can we do right now? Instead of saying something that will take some time to implement, and especially in COVID-19, implementing a solution for customer is more difficult because we are already suffering to secure our own employees as well, because our security was planned to address our employees only, and our VPN was not sized for 100% support of remote working. So organizations, ISPs are already facing challenges of capacity. So giving any security solution or implementing it's very difficult right now. But what is in hand is that user can set DNS, secure DNS setting at his mobile device, at his router, and at his switches to secure browse. It could provide parental controls for the kids. It can help in blocking phishing sites, scam sites. It is just how the DNS works. DNS will, when you are giving a secure DNS setting like Open DNS, it will not resolve fishy DNSs. Or any malicious DNS will not resolve. And at my home, when my kids or myself is using internet, we will not be able to go to a site that is actually secured by the DNS. On the other hand, Hussain rightly said, it is a flawed control. However, but it is a basic control. It is a basic control. Right now, we don't have anything. If we don't have anything, then going into any other detail that we can implement this thing, we can implement this thing, okay, that is fine. That is a future point of action. However, right now we can educate users. They can configure DNS setting in their routers and they can securely browse things. Secondly, what is quite easy, we can spread the communication through the media, even through the SMSs. But the telco has the capacity to send the SMS. Media has the capacity to share the security awareness over the larger masses. So awareness and the basic controls, at least we can guide user to use antivirus at your computers. Most of the people are not using the antiviruses. These are basics. This can be bypassed. There is no question in it. But when we are at 0 level and we want to reach at 100, let's take the tiny steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, then we can move toward some more mature level. But in COVID-19 days, I would say that educating user and what could be the secure practices, this is the step 1 that we should take right now even.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, I just want to say that the security concern which we are looking from the end user perspective is very good. And it's something, a security that we need to work in all areas. So for example, one of my friends said that 155 million user data was compromised. Currently, as I am heading one of the organization and supporting the industry, there is a huge fraud gap is going on because of this data. The one industry weak controls impact the other industry security controls. These information like NIC, like your mother name, like other information, these spammers, these fraudsters, they use spoof calls. They use this available information to create a fraud with the bank and with the user, and this condition has a financial impact, and people don't have much money in this situation. I just want to add that just want to tell you that on our PM last visit to the UN, when he addressed, I was invited and addressed and highlighted these areas in New York. And if you are planning to do any legislation and where I can help, I can provide anything. I would like to volunteer with the background and the relevant information wherever it's needed. And this is not for just the government, but for any organization. If you are facing any issue where we can collaborate, it's a national security thing. We are all together. I'm not happy because my sources, my visibility is completely different from the organization, what they are looking from their cyber security perspective. I am looking what others are doing and what they are doing. Uh, Government organization, tech system, many organizations I know that are being breached and compromised right now. So we need to act, and wherever we can collaborate, we can. And I would like to request Mr. Marsa that why don't we make an advisory board, and let's share the advisory to the relevant regulators. It's okay if they don't want to follow, but at least we should play our role. And this is something we can use using these platforms, and we can inform them and create awareness. So this is from my side. Thank you very much, everyone.
Farooq, go ahead. Farooq, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. I just want to say that I was really intrigued to listen to Senator Saab. Just heard Mohsen, just heard what Haseen has proposed. From the Canadian perspective, I can commit to you that we have a whole cybersecurity strategy. We have a framework. We have a SOC. I am willing to collaborate with the government of Pakistan to help you guys frame up with the legislation. We have our own, and as I said, we have a CSERT. We have a whole advisory board and everything. And we also have not-for-profits in Canada who have come up with end-user solutions for DNS protection. This one is from Mohsen Saab. So we have an organization called CIRA, Canadian Internet Registration Authority. They have come up with an offering called Canadian Shield, which is more specific towards DNS protection for end users. So we can share that also. We can share advisories also. We can share a framework also. And just remember one thing for everybody: technology alone cannot solve the problem. It's people, process, and technology. In Canada, I won't say that we have solved the problem, but we are making this whole thing possible through private and public partnership. You cannot expect the government to do everything. The government just legislates. We can help you with the legislation. We can work with the telecoms. We can work for the not-profits. But remember one thing, we will be able to solve this problem if we all come together. If PTCL, UPhone, any telcos, any other organization needs any guidance, any support, we are willing to collaborate. We're willing to share information. So this is an open offer from Canada for you guys, Senator Saab and everybody else. And I'm really happy that Haseen has also made the same offer. You have my contact details. We can work on it. And of course, we can work through an advisory board also.
Thank you very much. It has been a wonderful talk. Senator Saab, let me tell you, these 2 hours of discussion was really very meaningful. I think the quality people are here, international people. You know, these are all, mostly they are Pakistani people sitting abroad. Farooq is a Pakistani, Usman is a Pakistani. There are so many Pakistani people sitting abroad. I think since time is very less and we have promised for ourselves that we will complete in 2 hours. So I think we can accommodate one question from anyone. If somebody wants to make, please, one question from anyone. Anybody? So let me thank before my panelists. Trust you me, Farooq, I can see you. It was a quality talk. Every minute spent in last 2 hours was a quality talk, and I could see the huge participation here. And I must thank the participants because very patient listening they had. I must thank Sadish and Sufyan for organizing it because I'm just doing coordination. I'm very happy to announce that if I'm doing something, it's only because of people around me. They're helping me and I'm doing it. So looking forward to see you next week. So for next week, taking lead from Mohsin, I was thinking about some sort of cyber parenting because people are concerned about it. Some sort of home security. So let me think about it. So you will next week we will talk about, and then in the next Farooq Sahab will talk about the cyber laws, cyber strategies, all these things. So first we will have a limited meeting between 3-4 of us. We'll take Senator Sahab into confidence, and then we'll once we have some basic understanding, who will help, how will help, because I have a bad experience in the last from 2012 to 14. I spent 2 years of my valuable life, but I still feel that I've not wasted it because that gave me at least understanding how to fail. But I am not discouraged. You all know me very well. I am a last time fighter. I'll fight for it again. If Senator Teek will help me definitely in the Senate, I will fight for it again. It is my lifetime dream to make a national Senate of Pakistan. I thank you all for very patient listening and looking forward to see you next week, same time. Thank you very much. So kind. Stay blessed. Thank you.